Hi, welcome to our assembly. It's Friday. We've made it through the end of the week. And our assembly today, we talked about Prince Philip and all of the hard work that Prince Philip did for our whole country and for the Queen on Monday. And on Wednesday, we talked about Stephen Hawking and how Stephen Hawking, despite a life facing motor neuron disease, discovered all these amazing things and performed all these wonderful feats to use his brain, despite his physical limitations and difficulties. Now, today is St. George's Day. So we're going to have a bit of a think about St. George, and we are going to have a look at some ideas and images to do with St. George. So first of all, can you tell me, there is a flag, okay? There is a flag that is really, really important connected to St. George. I wonder if you can describe what that flag looks like. What do you think? Let's see if you know. Here we go. Here is a picture of St. George's flag, or there would be if I got the right screen. There we are, St. George's flag. Okay, and it is part of the Union flag, the red, white, and blue flag that we use for the United Kingdom. It's not called the Union Jack, it's called the Union flag. It's only called the Union Jack when it's on a ship. But that is St. George's cross. Okay, now who can tell me, or who can tell your teacher and talk to your partner about what St. George was allegedly famous for doing? There is a very special story of St. George. I wonder if you know what it is. Put your hand up if you do. Right, well done. That's right, St. George allegedly fought a dragon. Fought a dragon. Now, I'm not quite sure about that one, whether he did or not, because we don't really believe in dragons. There's Komodo dragons as an animal, but dragons don't actually exist. So what on earth is going on? So, St. George is the patron saint of England, a special person who reminds us what we want our country to be like. And there's many different legends or stories about St. George. He's also the patron saint of Canada, Catalonia, Ethiopia, Georgia, Greece, Montenegro, Palestine, Portugal, Russia, and Serbia, as well as the cities of Amersfoort, Beirut, Ferrara, Freiburg, Genoa, and Moscow. So a lot of different places. And perhaps that's one reason why he's the patron saint of England as well, because England is a country with a long tradition of welcoming people from other places. It's like we say at Wincham, everybody is welcome here. So we're all welcome at Wincham. We're all welcome in England. So St. George is patron saint of all of those different places. And that's really, really important, because he's saying from a Christian point of view, it doesn't matter where you're from, what you look like, how many legs you've got, how many arms you've got, whatever, you're all welcome here. Now, St. George is an important figure with a message for Jewish and Muslim people as well. Now, there's one story that St. George was an officer in the Roman army, and it was dangerous to be a Christian in the years after Jesus died. The Roman government killed Christians for being faithful to Jesus and saying that their belief in God was more important than their allegiance or their following of the law of Rome. So how did he become a Christian? Well, according to the story, George saw 40 Christians being killed, and he might have even been part of the group of soldiers who had to kill them. And the story goes that when they died, he saw a vision. He saw something, a kind of picture, saw 40 crowns came down from heaven and landed on their heads. And this made such an impression on him that he decided to become a Christian too. Now, this is also a well-known story about St. George fighting a dragon. But we don't believe in real dragons. But in another way, we do all have a dragon to fight. Now, perhaps his dragon was that he stood up to the people who tried to kill Christians. And that's the point of the assembly, is that Stephen Hawking's dragon was the fact that he had this physical disability that he had to overcome. It might be something that we are particularly scared of. It might be something that we're really, really worried about. And we could call that a dragon, something that we have to fight against every day. It might be, for me, being head teacher in a school, it's a very responsible job. I've got to make sure that everybody is okay, and that is my particular dragon that I have to fight. It might be that you are worried about coming into school for some reason. There's no reason to be worried about coming into school, but sometimes people feel that way. And you might describe that as your dragon to fight. It might be that you are scared of spiders. and the spider kind of scuttles across the floor, and you go, "Ah!" And it's not the spider, it's actually the fear, that feeling inside of the dragon that you have to fight. For Prince Philip, when we talked about Prince Philip's life on Monday, it could be the fact that maybe he spent some of his time thinking, well, do you know what? I don't want to go to this big official function with the Queen. I just want to have some time off. But he spent all of his life in service to the country. So, St. George was known for that sword and shield. Okay, the sword and shield. And St. George brings people together because everyone has their things they're afraid of. We talked about lots of examples. It could be work in school. It could be getting lost. It could be people being horrible to each other. And we come together with St. George, not to fight each other, but to fight our fears, to stand up against things that we're afraid of. And we need to face those fears, face those dragons, and get rid of them. So what do we need when we're afraid of a dragon? Do we need a shield or a sword? Or when we have that fear, a shield or a sword? Which one first? Now, with the shield, we think of the good things, people who love us and care for us, like our families. If there's a scary spider, there might be mum or dad or big brother or big sister who can help you. If it's really difficult work and you're worried whether you're going to get it right in school, you might talk to your friends, you might talk to your teacher or another adult in school about it. There is always somebody who is there and loves you and cares for you. Now, for Christians and other believers, we remember that God loves us and God cares for us. And with our sword, we can face down our dragons. We can do what we can. We can work really hard. We can try not to be scared by the spider or by getting lost or whatever else. Now, one last picture, a tree. Now, the Arabic name for St. George means the green one, and he's known as the protector of trees and also healer. So in this version of the legend, St. George reminds us how important it is to care for the environment because God made it. Okay, so St. George is a really, really important figure. We've got a lot of different ideas about being scared, about facing our fears or our worries or whatever it is, but also about caring for the environment and knowing that we are loved and that whatever we're going through, whatever difficulties we're facing, there is somebody else who is there for us as well. So think about St. George. Close your eyes for a minute. Think about St. George. Think about trees. And think that St. George is someone who people of all faiths can respect, someone who cared about the whole world. And think about how we can look after the world. Think about the shield, which reminds us of those who love us and want to help and protect us. And we can remember them when we feel afraid. So think of the sword and things that we can do, things that we can work hard about. We can practice our mindfulness. We can stop ourselves from worrying in that way. We can stick up for other people. We can look after other people. So lots to think about in that assembly today, guys. Enjoy the rest of St. George's Day. I'll see you around school. Have a lovely rest of the day. Bye-bye.